Hey everyone, Hedgehog here. You might have noticed that I'm a bit of a Kerbal Space Program fan, and I'm pretty sure everyone has heard of it by now, but I wanted to take a fresh 2019 look at the game and answer two big questions that I've heard tossed around. If I've never played Kerbal Space Program, should I? And if I haven't played Kerbal Space Program for a long time, should I get back to it? Well, I'd like to answer these questions, but first, what is Kerbal Space Programs? For you weirdos who have never heard of it, or maybe you've just heard of it but never really got into the details. So Kerbal Space Program, KSP for short, is a space simulation game developed by Squad, which first hit Steam Early Access in March of 2013. Now, the game was fully released, this is version 1.0, in April of 2015, just a little bit more than 2 years in development. And the game has seen 6 major updates and a separate DLC over the past 4 years. And the team is continuing its development even now with the 7th major update coming in the next few weeks. In KSP, you are in charge of the Kerbal's space program. Now, Kerbals are little green aliens that live on planet Kerbin in a distant solar system. They have a never-ending thirst for science and exploration and have set their collective minds to reach for the stars. And this is where you come in. As the program's general manager, as well as pilot and engineer and scientist, you control every aspect of the path that the little Kerbals will take to achieve their goal. In career mode, you start out small, with hardly any space-worthy technology, and by performing scientific experiments, slowly expand and upgrade your spacefaring capabilities by managing the science points and funds received from successfully completing missions. Now, another way to play the game is in sandbox mode, where all technology is unlocked and there are no money constraints. Build what you like, go wherever you want, there are no limits except maybe for your CPU. So that's basically the game, but man, it was released almost 4 years ago. For a lot of single-player games with no multiplayer or co-op support, that would probably mean a significant decrease in player base. But this isn't really the case for KSP. The game has had a consistent player base, averaging about 3,000 players a day since a little after release. The community is extremely friendly, very helpful, nearly 500,000 subscribers on Reddit, and thousands of videos on YouTube, many on this channel as well. There are hundreds of mods, from small UI enhancements to complete game overhauls, meaning there are a ton of ways to play the game and change it to fit whatever playstyle you choose. Coupled with a Steam workshop, sharing silly or extremely efficient designs is just a click of a button away. All of these enrich the game far beyond its single-player capability, which is why we see the community as alive today as it has ever been. The additional DLC adds missions and a bunch of extra parts. Missions are one-off tasks with a set criterion for success and failure. There's a built-in mission creator, so you can make your own missions, and they can be shared through the Steam workshop as well, so they can be extremely creative and interesting. The additional parts aren't as interesting, seeing as the community has been developing part mods for a number of years, and they're quite good. So all in all, the DLC can definitely be acquired at a later date if you're just starting and not sure if the game is right for you yet. Lastly, the price tag. KSP usually goes for about $40 and an additional $15 for the Making History DLC. Now, depending on your local currency, but it does go on sale every 2 months or so, making it a measly $16 with an additional $10 for the DLC, which is a very, very sweet deal. Personally, I'd say you get your money's worth paying full price, but during a sale, it becomes an absolute steal. So what else do you need to know? KSP is at its core a simulation game with a fairly realistic physics engine. So in order to get to space, you're going to need to understand quite a few spaceflight concepts, at least on a basic level. These include orbital mechanics, rendezvous, docking, delta V, transfer windows, staging, and many more. The game does have tutorials and an encyclopedia built in, not to mention the thousands of videos explaining these concepts, but it's definitely a time investment. Unlike other games, you can't just hop into your spaceship and figure it out as you go along. That's just not going to work. There's a meticulous attention to detail necessary, and even a single wrong setting can compromise an entire mission, forcing a do-over. Even the most experienced players sometimes forget to set up their correct staging, or add a heat shield or a parachute, ending in a fatal, though often entertaining disaster. Alright, so that was a pretty lengthy description that doesn't quite capture the magic that is KSP, but I think it's enough to answer the first question at least. KSP is hard. It's so hard that I started investing a significant amount of time learning all of the above concepts and more in order to master the game. Because it's such a difficult game to pick up, these successes become somewhat euphoric. The first time you achieve orbit, your first space station, the first rover on Duna, that's KSP's Mars equivalent, all becoming such exciting moments that encourage players to seek out ever greater challenges. And thanks to the massive number of mods, there are thousands of hours worth of gameplay and challenges included with that $16 price tag. This is why there are so many tweets, Reddit posts of people with just a simple moonlander. It must have taken them hours and hours to achieve it, that they're so proud that they have to share it, and the community loves these images because it loves to share in that excitement. Short and simple, if you want a challenging but extremely rewarding gaming experience that will also make you a semi-qualified rocket scientist, get this game 100%. It's worth it even with a full price tag, but during a sale, it's a no-brainer. As for you older KSPers out there that have gotten somewhat worn out and are wondering what's changed over the past year or two, here's the lowdown. KSP's current version is 1.6, nicknamed To V or Not To V. This version includes the highly requested Delta V information right in the VAB, no mods required. In addition to that, it includes a lot of reskinned and recolored parts, so there are more rocket customization options, and naturally it also includes a bunch of bug fixes and optimizations, as well as some quality of life improvements. In the past several versions, there haven't really been significant changes to the game, but rather it has gotten a very nice polished look. The parts look better and are more customizable, the game's stability has improved, and there are a lot of quality of life changes. If you're looking for a fresh KSP experience, you should definitely fire it up, especially if you haven't played since 1.2 or even before. If you haven't bought the Making History expansion, you should consider getting it, as the addition of missions adds significant spice and challenge to the game. That said, if you haven't played for about a year, I'm not sure the game in its current form has enough new content to warrant picking it up again. Or, you could always try Realism Overhaul. Anyway, that's my take. KSP is on sale right now at the Humble Store. I'll add a link in the description, and you should definitely, this is a great time to pick it up. What do you think of the current state of KSP? Do you think new players should pick it up? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.